This is the K953 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K953 Sports Show podcast. This is Beau, your host. Thank you for listening. As usual, please subscribe so you get all future podcasts. Also hit the bell next to the subscribe button, and that'll give you push notifications on your cell phone when new episodes are released each week. As usual, I want to thank the Fan Zone for sponsoring us. Please visit them in the Candy Mall. Buy some sports memorabilia. Like I said, I saw they had a whole bunch of cool Vikings shirts up right when you walk into the store. So definitely check them out. As usual, also email me your Mount Rushmore of Vikings players. We'll have a new one today. Email me at K953sportsshow@gmail.com. That's K953sportsshow@gmail.com. And I'm also looking for Minnesota Wild lovers. I'm not a big Wild fan. Well, I'm a Wild fan, but I'm not tapped into them like I am with the Vikings. And I need somebody who wants to be on the podcast and talk Wild hockey. So please get a hold of me at that same email if you are interested in wanting to come in and talk Wild hockey and other sports with me. So please take a look at that. Let's get into who we have today. I have Jeremy Goulet is visiting us again, the front office manager here at KDJS. How's it going tonight, Jeremy?
Good, Beau. How you doing?
Hey, getting ready to rock and roll. And I also brought in for his first time, Tim Meyering. Welcome, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you coming in. I know you're a big sports nut.
Oh, yeah, big time, yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to our conversation today. So let's go ahead and start with the Vikings. As we usually do, the Vikings-Rams game. Obviously, it wasn't what
better than the Bills game.
That's true. That's true. And we definitely... I didn't have this as a win anyways when I sat down and did my pre-season picks. So it doesn't hurt as much. It was good to see the offense keeping up. The defense didn't look good. But on my Facebook page that I have, MN Vikings fan page on Facebook, please come and join if you want to. A lot of people sounding the alarm, claiming that the season's over, the Super Bowl aspirations are over. Before we start talking Vikings, I'm going to go over some things and say why it is not officially over yet, and then I'll have you guys chime in on your thoughts. So let's go back to some recent Super Bowl appearances. The 2011 New York Giants had a 4-game losing streak in November through December, finishing the season 9-7, and then went on to beat the Pats in the Super Bowl. 2 out of those 5 2 out of the 5 wins by the Redskins that year were against the Giants. So I mean, a 5-win team, 2 of them were from the eventual Super Bowl winners. Made the Super Bowl, won it. Packers in 2010 started the season 3-3 and ended the season 3-3. Ended up with a 10-6 record with the wild card and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
2008 Arizona Cardinals finished with a 9-7 record. In that season, they went 2-4 over their last 6 games. And check this out: in those 4 losses, they averaged the average point differential between them and their opponent 30 points.
Cow. I did not know that.
Yeah, wow. 30-point difference. Teams averaged over 41 points per game in those 4 losses, where the Cards only averaged 17.
Well, nice defense. Jeez.
Yeah. And that was at the end of the season.
That's brutal.
Not the first quarter.
Jeez.
So, but of course, they made the Super Bowl. Yes, they lost, but they made the Super Bowl at a 9-7 team. Let's go back again. Giants again, 2007. Only 10-6 and won the Super Bowl. They started the season 0-2. So basically, out of the last 12 years, 1/3 of the Super Bowl games included teams with a 10-6 or 9-7 record. 4 teams total, with 3 winning the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So, obviously, we don't like what we've seen from the defense and the holes on the offensive line. But anybody sounding the alarm saying that the Vikings should not still be considered Super Bowl contenders, to me, are overreacting emotionally and not thinking with their head. Your thoughts, Tim?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree 100%. This team is better than this. We all know that. Was it 12 or 13 wins last year we had? And, man, we were awesome last year. This is the same defense. We can do this. I mean, we're 4 games in. We're 1-2-1. Obviously not what we expected. The Bills game is not what we expected. And, I mean, we can come back from this. I mean, any true Vikings fan knows that we've been through our seasons, the rough patches, but this team is very complete. We've shown a lot of promise. I'm not giving up on them.
Yeah, no. Jeremy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a little early to start thinking that the wheels have come completely off because we're too good of a team. And the Bills game, I think they came out and like I had told you before.
It was rough.
Perfect storm.
It was one of those situations where it was like, are we watching the NFC Championship game again here? I mean, it was just we got smacked right in the mouth and we just didn't know how to recover right away.
Nothing was going right in that.
Right, exactly. So during the Rams game, I was really encouraged to see we didn't give up. At least, I mean, we didn't just roll over. I mean, we were fighting back, and I think in that game too, something that we've been missing the last 2 games has been takeaways. We need to get some more takeaways. And with the Rams, I know you can never blame the officiating for whatever, but there were 2, I think, significantly blown calls on that could have really made the game go different ways. That first one with Thielen not being down, I mean, that's the way it goes, fine. But that block in the back, that was a complete
brutal
killer for us because that would have left them third and way long. It could have completely turned the tide of that whole game.
And everybody knew it.
Yeah,
it was just
that's
ridiculous.
That's the thing that it gets you.
It was more of an insult that they picked up the flag.
Well, after it's like, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's bad when you throw the flag and then you pick it up and everybody is all okay, that made no sense to pick it up. So it's you take a look at the upcoming 5 weeks before our bye week, week 10. Obviously, we're at Eagles, Cardinals home, at Jets, Saints home, Lions home.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
We could go 5-0. I see 4-1.
Yeah, that Saints game might be kind of tough.
Yeah, thank God it's at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it's at home. The Jets, Cardinals, and Lions shouldn't be too tough. But then again, that's what we thought about the Bills.
Yeah, neither were the Bills.
So.
It's who knows, but it's favorable now. After the Eagles game, our schedule gets so much better. Seahawks aren't the team that they have been. Patriots looked better last week.
Starting to come around a little.
But yeah, what are you going to get out of them? So yeah, it's no reason to sound the alarm yet. Get back to me in about 5 weeks. Get back to me by week and what we do over these next 5 games.
And man, that Patriots game could be a lot of fun. I mean, was it 5-6 weeks down the line here, or whatever date it's on?
8.
And that could be a fun game to watch. I mean, with the implications that are going on for both of our teams. As long as the Vikings get well, that could be fun.
Yep.
Is that game is in New England, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
It'll be.
I know we have such a brutal. That's what I'm just saying. If we might have a brutal enough schedule that we might trip up, but it might gain us some good
strength down
the road. When we do hit
these
the playoffs,
speed bumps, yeah.
Because we're not the Bears playing a last place,
right?
Mm-hmm. Last place schedule. And we're going up against top echelon teams. So, yeah, no, it's going to make a big difference. Let's go back to the game here. Cousins looked great. He had a great bounce back from the Bills game. He was a bad block by Reef from driving us down to the field and tying the game.
Yep.
So, I still have no complaints on Cousins. I still see people on my Viking fan page crying about Case.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
No.
I know. I don't get it.
They're completely different players.
Absolutely.
I mean, they really are. I mean, they might be the same player, same position, but Cousins and Keenum, the arm strength, the accuracy, the whole package with Cousins is totally different than Keenum. They're different players.
Yep. No, exactly. So, obviously with the O-line issues, I just don't know. I mean, we went into the season thinking left tackle was our strong point, and Reef has had his 2 worst games as a Viking.
Yes, he has been brutal on the left side there. And last season, like you said, he graded out as number 2 overall left tackle in the league last year, believe it or not. And this year he's got to be not even close to that. I mean, he's been like a turnstile. I mean, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't get it because I'm going to chalk it up to just having 2 bad games.
Yep.
You know,
And that could be just what it is too. I mean, I really think that they got a wake up call against the Bills, and then they went.
They had a good game in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I think that they're just trying to get their feet back under them. I mean, it sometimes that might take a game or two to get corrected, but
their offense, I mean, had a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The O-line was solid for the first 3 quarters. It was that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they started.
That's where Donald got going, and that's where that the right end started going around Reef. So, I mean, it was 3 quarters. I was very happy with the way the offensive line played for the first 3 quarters.
I'm surprised it took Donald that long to get going. I mean, he's probably, the best
MVP.
defensive player in the league, right? I mean, that's what they say, so.
Yeah, like I said, there was some good, and there was obviously a fourth quarter bad with the offensive line. Let's get into the defense. Oh, man, I don't know why they would allow Barr to continue lining up across wide receivers or fast running backs, especially that last touchdown. They specifically put a guy in motion to put Barr on the inside wide receiver. The running back went in motion, went onto the outside, and the wide receiver was now in the slot, and Barr was taking the slot. Why is there not it was man too. It wasn't a zone. Why wasn't there a quick switch? Why isn't the cornerback saying, "Hey, let's switch. You get on this guy. I get on this guy."
Right.
That blew my mind.
No answers for you there. Completely confusing. I don't know if people were missing assignments or they just they thought something else was coming or what. But yeah, that was glaring.
Yep. Some reports were saying that Alexander should have been on him or Sendejo should have been over there. But man, it didn't happen only one time. You got to learn from your mistakes. I mean, Anthony Barr should not be covering Todd Gurley or Robert Woods. I mean, give me a break. He can't. I mean, he's a good player. You just can't keep up with him.
And was it just me, or did it just seem like he was even slower than usual? Like he is fast.
He didn't seem.
He's quick.
His quickness that he has.
I wonder if there's a nagging injury or something because it looked like he was running with cinder blocks on his feet.
And they asked him before the game, and he hit all his family there because he's a UCLA kid and all of his family there. And he said, "Oh, I'm the best shape I've been in a while. I'm really excited for this game." And he laid an egg. He was awful.
Wow, he laid more than one egg.
It was bad.
It was a good dozen eggs. Yeah, no, I just was so disappointed, and I think we're really missing Griffin more than we know, and that's
for
been
sure
because the best defense for a passing is, or for the cornerbacks, is a good rush, and we weren't getting to him at all.
No,
at all.
Yep.
And
it was not even. There was maybe 3 or 4 times we even got even close. It was just ridiculous, and you can't expect a replacement level guy like Stephen Weatherly to put the pressure on the quarterback like Everson was. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, times like this we think about Brian Robinson. He's not with the team anymore. I mean, we could use Robinson on the end right now. I mean, nothing's worse than what it is right now.
They brought in some people to work out yesterday.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember all the names. Those 2 of them. Lamar Houston.
Okay.
Lamar Houston was one of them.
The old Chief or Bear. One of the 2. Yep.
Too.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I think he played both, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was another decent name. Of course, everybody on Twitter was asking, what about Robeson? What about Robeson? Of course, they know what he is.
Right.
They don't need to bring him in for a workout. Right. They've seen him for his entire career.
Exactly.
So I think they kind of brought these 2 in to see what they could do and then compare them to what they know about Robeson. But, they need to do something. I want to be sympathetic to Everson Griffin because I'm a huge proponent for mental health. But it's kind of like also the selfish Viking fan of me is like, why don't we do that now? Oh, Robert Ayers.
Yeah,
Robert
the
Ayers.
Old Tennessee Titan, I believe. Yeah, he was.
Those
are some couple of good names. I mean, you can't.
But then again, they're not on a team.
They're not on a team for a reason. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly.
Wanted too much money, maybe. That's another thing. Is these older.
You never know
agents.
about that. Yep.
So I mean, there's some positives on that. Rhodes going out of his way and kicking the flag. I mean,
that is not a Xavier Rhodes thing to do. And I mean, he's just not. That's just not his character. That was really out of character for him, in my opinion.
I thought that was very weird for him too. I was just like, okay, we just don't make those kind of errors.
Yep.
I mean,
him and Harrison Smith are very. They show a lot of charisma on the field, and they do not do things like that. And when I saw Rhodes do that, I thought this frustration level must be very high.
Yep, that he is. It's really getting to him.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Well, that's with Smith too. He's had really the last 2 games have been really quiet for him too. It seems like, and it's like not that he's getting beat up or anything, but he's just not like the playmaker he has been lately.
Right. Harrison had 1 tackle on last Thursday's game.
One. Really?
Harrison Smith had 1 tackle. I mean, they showed the scheme, and they were keeping the ball away from Harrison Smith, and it's working on a pretty good plan considering our other best defender is out. So, no Everson and Harrison Smith isn't getting his hands on the ball, then you know that, or the tackler that is, that is going to probably be a pretty good game for you.
Yeah, and I'd like to know what's going on with Iloka.
What is the deal? Has he even played a snap?
I think he's been out there maybe
a special teams.
Yeah. No, it's because obviously you saw after Barr's 3rd touchdown he gave up, Curse was out there in his spot with the big, the 3 safety set. But I'm just like, why? You would think the defensive scheme wouldn't be that different from when Zimmer was with him just a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That he couldn't pick it up. I mean, maybe the Bengals saw that he was just a shadow of himself.
Something going on, yep.
And that could be too.
But I wish I could hear what the exact reason is.
Yeah, and they're also saying that Curse is actually playing really well this year as well. That's what they're saying. But
he's been okay.
You get, for what he should be. But Iloka, we got him for a reason. Put him in there. I mean, it can't be much worse than it is right now. So might as well.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Any final thoughts on the game, guys, that you want to kind of bring up or talk about that I haven't talked about?
Vikings total defense right now, 21st in the league. Pass defense, 23rd in the league.
Yeah.
That is not Minnesota Vikings football as from last year, the top 5 the whole year.
Yeah, Zimmer needs to figure it out, and in Zim I trust. That's, he's one of
me too.
He's arguably one of the best defensive minds in the last 25 years, and I guarantee he's had stretches in the past where they've had bad games, multiple bad games in a row, or out of a certain amount of games, but then he tightens it up and he figures it out, and if there's anybody who's pissed about what's going on, it's Zimmer, because that's his baby. The defense is his baby, and he wants them to succeed because he knows that looks bad on him, because he's very hands off on offense. So
he's the king of reining that kind of stuff in. Really, he is. I mean, and honestly, I think I talked to you about that a few weeks ago. He had been talking about how much the media was playing into this, and how his players were kind of starting to get this bigger head, thinking like, well, we're going to run through this, and he was just like, knock it off. These guys have always played better with a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
When they've been, rooted against. And I can guarantee you that I'm sure he had a stern chat with the fellows.
That's a nice way to put it.
So, I'm not worried about Zimmer either. I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, let's get into this game for Sunday against Philly. Unfortunately, we have to go back to Philly.
That was fun last year, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure the fans just are. Oh God, I hate them.
Yeah, those Eagles fans.
They are
bad,
just
bad.
But
fan base.
Unfortunately, the Eagles lost going into us, so that sucks to me, because when you have a good team like that, you don't want them losing before your matchup, because they're going to come in with more of a chip on their shoulder.
Right, for sure.
So hopefully we go in but I also don't think they're the team that they were Super Bowl, even with Wentz back. They've been their running back core is depleted,
and their offensive line has not played anywhere close to how they played last year.
Yeah, we definitely need that so we can get some pressure. Alshon Jeffrey returned for them. That he looked
and he had
surprisingly
a great game,
really good.
Yeah,
surprisingly
a great game.
Good enough, and for fantasy, I was able to trade him right away when his
they said he had a fever during the game, and he still played that well.
Nice. So what will need to happen for the Vikings to win the game, Tim?
We need to establish a run game.
Yes.
was it 2 weeks ago? We had 4 rushes, 2 of them being Kirk Cousins. Last week we got a little bit more rushes, but I couldn't be more than 15 rushes last week, maybe 20. Dalvin Cook, not sure what's going on. I know he's been hurt.
Yeah, he said he's not 100%.
If he's not 100%, you got to do something. I mean, put Murray in there more, put Thomas in there more. We got to get a rush game going. We got to do something. That's big. Something else maybe I've noticed is, like I said, the Eagles' offensive line is bad. Just exploit the offensive line. So you can get some rushes, get some guys up there, get to the quarterback, get them tired right away. That'd be great.
Yeah. Jeremy?
Yeah, I agree with quite a bit of that. I think the run game is going to be important. I think that there should be some touching on the ball security for us.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe passes that you don't think you're going to catch, as Beau, you've said in the past, not just knock them down. Don't let them get vultured up in the air. I agree. I think they need to get Wentz running for his life right out of the gate. And I think one of the biggest key things for us again will be we were that team that was averaging. I think at one point we were averaging like 2 turnovers a game for us. So I mean we need to get that. I think that's something that we need to get back into. And hey, it's the more we have the ball, the better off we're going to have chances of winning.
Yeah. So. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, the O-line needs to step up and give Cousins time, because obviously you give Cousins time, he is going to find the person and he's going to.
And we saw that last week. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
when he had time, he was fine.
Yeah. And then we saw when he didn't have time.
Yeah, but that's just it. Most of the time he was running for his life. It was
right.
Like, man, come on.
So hopefully the Vikings really get hyped up for this game, being the embarrassment that happened in January, that they want to come in there and just show.
I think they'll have that.
I think so too. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to see some fight. Then let's what will need to happen for the Eagles to win. Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and start?
Well, I think for the Eagles, that'll be their biggest key too, is if they can shut down our run game right away, and then if they can just keep exploiting our O-line. And that's basically the last 2 weeks for us. It's when our O-line has started to collapse. We just have no answer. And what scares me is, like I said too, that he just want to keep Cousins safe. I mean, he took some of those shots from the blind side, which is brutal. It's like, oh my! I mean, I don't like seeing somebody you're paying that much money taking shots like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then for them too, I think it's the same thing. If they can keep Wentz, protected, that guy, I mean, he's obviously a great quarterback too. And if they capitalize on any of like I said, our ball security these last 2 games just seems to have not been anywhere near where it needs to be. And if they can exploit some of that too, it's going to be a long day in Philly.
Right.
Tim?
Man, he touched that on very well. I think their offensive line is definitely very, very good. Our defensive line, not so much. So if they can protect Wentz, like he said, that's going to be huge. Wentz was on pace for an MVP year last year before he went down. Mm-hmm. He's looked okay this year. He hasn't looked amazing like he did last year, but like you said, he's got Jeffrey back. The running game hasn't really been established, but if they can get the running game going, kind of like the Vikings, if the Eagles can get their running game going and they can get Jeffrey and Aguilar and they can get them the ball, don't forget about Zach Ertz.
I was just going to say Ertz is a big weapon for them too. So
definitely, if our defense gets behind or early, we know what can happen there. So Eagles definitely they have a high-powered offense.
Yeah, and that's for me, for what needs to happen for the Eagles to win is the 2018 Vikings defense needs to show up again. That's if the 2017 Vikings defense shows up, then I think we win it.
Right.
And quite easily. But if it's the team that showed up for the Bills game and for the Rams game, if it's that defense again, then it's just going to be just another shootout.
No chance, right?
We're going to be in the 30s again for the final score, and that doesn't. Nobody wants that to happen for us. Final score wise, To be honest, I think it's going to be 27-24 Eagles. I just feel we're going to come up short.
Some fan you are.
I'm a realistic fan.
Yeah.
I think logically. I don't think with my emotion. I used to be an emotional fan. Ask my parents and watching the game at their house, the screaming and yelling. I mean, I still do, but it's usually towards like bad calls or
Don't we all? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I see it and if I see a call, a penalty, and the other people that are watching the game are like, oh, I'll look at it and be like, no, that's pass interference. I'm not afraid to call a spade when I see it. It's so
not a homer. Okay.
Yeah, I try not to drink the Kool-Aid. I'll sip it.
Sip it.
I'll sip it, but I won't drink it or gulp it. What do you think for a final score, Tim?
Man, I got 31-26 Vikings. I think our defense is gonna come out, play a little bit better. I mean, we're still gonna have 26 points, but I don't know. Something's got to give. We got a long time between games here, but 10 days. I just think Dalvin will be a little bit more healthy and hopefully than last week. But I'm going to say Vikings win this.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 28-21 Vikings. I don't know. I kind of feel like
we're the true fans.
Well, yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where I always feel like after a team suffers something like they did last year in the NFC Championship games, it just seems like it's always that next year when they mean that head up and everybody like, oh, remember what happened last time? And then the other team just comes and beats the living crap out of them. So, but I mean, occasionally it does still go the other way. But I
never know.
I have a feeling. I just think they're going to come out this week with a real chip on their shoulder and ready to just rip people's heads off. So
trust me, I want that to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
oh yeah.
It's just I'm like I said, I'm trying to be, I agree that 10 days makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
If we win, that is going to be one of the keys, is that we had enough time for Zimmer to make the changes on defense that he needed to for us to win the game. So I mean, I definitely see that with the 10 days rest. That definitely makes a huge difference to me too. So I think that's what we'll kind of wrap up with the Vikings talk. We'll go into a little bit of Twins talk here. Obviously, we all saw what happened on Sunday with Mauer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think everybody knew he was questionable to return next year anyways. And I think even though he hasn't officially announced his retirement, I think it's the fact that they did the whole catching thing.
Right. Yep.
That put it over. That put it over the top.
Mm-hmm.
If they wouldn't have done that, then we'd be talking about, will he or will he not? But I think that move specifically means he's done.
Right. You hit the nail on the head there. Mm-hmm. The speculation is a lot less now. I mean, his wife had to agree to him doing that, and his wife literally said that he never would be behind the plate again because she did not want him behind the plate. And she allowed that to happen on Sunday. I mean, it's got to be that time.
Sure, yeah.
It has to be. And plus, his little girl's running to the base there in that beginning of the game. And
perfect ending hit for him.
The
slap.
Opposite field double.
Yep, legs out of double. Yep.
Right.
So here's my question I'm going to pose for Mauer. Hall of Fame. Yes or no?
That's such a hard question because... if
let me throw just a couple things. I was doing some Google searching and looking up some different things, and there was this article, beyondtheboxscore.com, talking about Joe Mauer has a complicated Hall of Fame case. Obviously, in his seasons, let's see, he ended with a 306 average.
Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah,
exactly. That right there is Hall of Fame worthy. Yes, he rarely struck out.
Yeah,
that's a very big positive.
He was patented for his
two-strike hits.
Yeah, and 10-12 minute at bats.
Right.
It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously he's got the MVP award.
Yes,
he's got 2009. He's got the 3
batting
titles, which were never done by an American League catcher. Ever.
Never done once. Yeah.
And the first one was he was the best in the entire major leagues.
365, I believe.
And that was the first time a catcher had ever led the majors in hitting
Right.
average like that. 3 Golden Gloves, Silver Slugger Award. This guy was talking on here. He obviously barely struck out more than he walked, and only struck out 12.7% of the time.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
Arguably the best pure hitter to ever play catcher. He might
Oh,
not.
yeah.
He might, after his MVP season, his home runs obviously dropped, but he's just a pure hitter.
Right.
One of the best base running catchers in his era. This guy said.
Really?
He said seriously.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was very good at throwing people out too. I was trying to
He's
find
great.
it.
Yes.
So basically this article basically says if he would have stayed at the catcher position his entire career, he probably would have been a first or second ballot
Yes. I think
And that's
Hall of Famer
that's
because
the
of the
tough part.
position.
Yep.
But because he moved to first, now all of a sudden the Hall of Fame committee is going to look at what he did at first compared to other first basemen also. And, of course, that's kind of where his career...
he wasn't bad at first base,
No.
but he
Everything dipped.
everything dipped down. I mean, if I'm answering the question of whether or not he gets in, I think he falls short right now. Maybe down the line, but he's not the first to second ballot like Beau said, like he would have been if he played catcher this whole career.
Yep.
I mean, and he was got to be one of the best hitting catchers ever. He really has to be.
And
So.
in most, I saw too, most baseball publications had him on the all-decade team from 2000 to 2010.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, if you make an all-decade team
Yeah.
at your position, once again, it was catcher,
Right.
then he should be in the conversation. I think it's like I think they're 15 years on for a chance to get into the Hall of Fame.
Correct.
So I mean, he's got 15 years. Will it take 5? Will it take 10? Will it never come? It's like he said. The guy on this article he talked to. Let me find that here. He talked to this Jay Jaffe. He said is arguably the leading expert in Hall of Fame analysis.
He's a Cooperstown guy. Yep. Okay.
Yep. You've heard of him?
Yep. Jay Jaff. Yep.
Yep. So he had a hard time drawing a firm conclusion on Mara also.
Oof.
He presented the facts on him and speculates on some of the obstacles that could be in the eyes of the voters, but he did not give a firm yes or no. So
It's a really hard case. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Jeremy? I mean,
And that's just it. That's why I don't know how to answer it. And like you said, arguably if he would have stayed at catcher, probably first or second ballot. This could be one of them stretched out and kind of hang back like
Could be a Blyleven. Yep, there you go.
Saying like, oh God, am I going to get in there, guys?
yeah, where they'll need like a strong push from a bunch of the sports writers and the Hall of Fame voters
Right.
to be like, all right, guys, come on. Mauer's been hanging around 50, 55%. Let's get him up to that. What is it? Is it 70?
75% of the
70,
vote.
is it 75?
75.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was 70 or 75.
70 or 75. I'm not sure either, actually. I think it's 75,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, so to get them up over that, they might need a strong push from people. But yeah, I mean, obviously, for me, Joe Mauer had disappointing end of his season, end of his career with us after his MVP year. I thought it just, the money he was making, I think he kind of hamstrung our team a little bit.
Yes.
But he's still going to go down as one of the best Minnesota Twins of all time.
Top 5 or 6 all time.
Yep.
I mean, hands down.
Yep. No, I agree. So, yeah, it's too bad he's retiring, but it frees up
Supposedly
25.
retiring.
Yeah, yes, well, that frees up. That'll free up close to $25 million, or is it 32?
Oof.
Was it 32?
$24.5 million.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
I believe.
We should be able to get 2 decent players for that.
Oh yeah.
This is
You
the
should be
year.
able to.
So here's your. This is recorded on Tuesday as usual, and earlier today was the announcement that Molitor was let go. I was surprised, but not surprised. I feel that, they had him stick around last year because the new GMs were coming in and they just wanted to see what was there, and then we had that surprise run.
Right.
He wins Manager of the Year.
Yeah.
Extension.
Yeah, he gets an extension.
Right.
But I guarantee from day one that the new GMs wanted their own guy. They wanted their own people, and that's what usually happens. Unless you're just a stalwart as a manager, unless you're like a Joe Madden or Girardi or
Right.
something like one of those top names. you're gonna, when there's new guys at the helm running things, they usually try to look to put who they want in there. Unfortunately, the team with injuries and just people not playing to their potential this year opened the door for them to let him go.
Yep.
Tim, I know you've got a pretty good pulse on the Twins, and what's your thoughts on
I'm
the
a big
Molitor?
Twins guy. I mean, honestly, a lot of people would say that they saw it coming, but I really did not see it coming. They had a 3-year extension last year. He's manager of the year last year. I mean, you think this guy's going to keep going with this team, and he's going to have these players, and they're going to do something great like they did last year, but it just wasn't to be, I guess. Like you said, Falvey and Levine want to bring their own guy in. They saw this as a chance to do that, and like you said, they did not pick this guy. And Falvey and Levine are going to pick their own guy, and they're probably going to pick someone from, who knows, from where they came from before. Maybe from the Indians, maybe from the Rangers. Probably a young guy, but I just really didn't see the Molitor thing coming at all.
Jeremy?
I actually, I kind of in your boat, Beau, and the reason I heard this from multiple people today too. Here, Dean was not surprised at all, and Rob was completely shocked just because he's like, really, but I guess Dean had been saying that some of the higher ups now on this, they were responsible for helping rebuild like the Cubs and they say the Boston Red
Indians.
Sox.
Oh yeah, the guys on that.
So
yeah.
he said that he could see where they might be. Yeah, they want to bring in their own guys. One other thing Rob had brought up too is I guess that one of the reports he had read earlier was that they were dealing with someone. They wanted to make sure the manager was bilingual because our team has got so many
Spanish.
highest
Spanish
percentage
people now.
of yes in the American League. Yes.
They said that can be really hard to translate that with some stuff, maybe, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
I think the bilingual reason is kind of weird. I heard that,
I
heard that
thought
as
it was
well
weird
today.
too, but
I
it was
mean,
like-
and I know Molitor knows some Spanish, which is kind of, so the bilingual thing, I'm not really, well, you never know, I guess. But, yeah,
As long as they're not as long as the quality of manager isn't a huge drop off. If you're going to hire a manager on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, and you like one guy who isn't bilingual and he's like an 8 or 9, but the bilingual guy is like a 5 or 6. Let's
go for the higher quality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we got interpreters for.
Right.
That's why they got them on the staff. So, I kind of hope that's what they're going to do. I don't.
So think about this. Kelly and Gardy and Molitor. None of those guys were really like the young players that they have now that are managing teams. I mean, I'm not saying that they're old, but there's not like Kelly. I guess when Kelly came in, he was kind of young, but they're not these super young Alex Cora, Craig Counsell type managers. But maybe the Twins are going for youth. Who knows? I guess there's something you got to think about.
No, it'll be interesting to see the offseason. The Twins have a lot to prove, a lot of money to spend for this. I think I saw between some of the bad contracts coming off. I mean, they're gonna have like $60 million to get up to their what they were at the beginning of this season for spending.
For the first time in a while, too, we've actually had a lot of money. So
yeah, and let's be honest, they could probably even put more money in beyond that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what how long the leash is for the new GMs for that. So we'll of course talk more Twins news as it comes out throughout the off season with signings and stuff like that, and then of course at the beginning of next year we'll actually preview the Twins season coming up. I do want to touch on Timberwolves for a quick second. Another week has gone by. Butler is still with the team. I don't know when he will be, but I think he will be gone. Seems Miami's still putting a big push on him.
Yes, yep.
Which I would like. I'd like Richardson from there. If we could get, was it Whiteside? I want Whiteside.
That would be great. I mean,
that guy is a beast on defense, a beast on the boards, a beast block. I mean, he's a beast defender.
He had that game last year, multiple games with like 7 or 8 blocks.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Put him next to Towns and have Towns kind of learn a little bit from him and make Towns a better defensive player, because let's be honest, that's the only complaint about Towns is his defense is suspect.
Yes. And Whiteside, the quote-unquote bad year last year, but I'd still take him. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah, no, so...
And we need defense.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Rose, they've had one game, and he looked good, as long as his knees
That's the hard part to
Yeah, as long as his knees stay healthy, man. I mean, he's dynamic. I mean, even last year it showed. He had some great games there at the end of the season and in the playoffs. But once again, it's about his knees. You've got to keep his minutes down, and who knows about Tibbs? Tibbs is such a big minutes guy.
And Rose has a long leash. He has Tibbs as his coach. I mean, he loves him. So we'll see. I guess they're saying Rose could play shooting guard, and he played on Saturday in the preseason game. He had more shots than Towns on Saturday. I mean, that shows how much.
Oh, and he looked good.
And he looked good too.
Good.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously we signed Luol Deng, and we'll see if he has any gas in the tank. Probably not. He'll just be a minutes guy off the bench. But once again, he's a good defender also, if I recall.
Another Tibbs guy. Yeah,
another Tibbs guy. Yeah, exactly. And then Butler wants to leave. Obviously, he didn't like Rose and Ding or Tibbs, but why?
Right.
Why would you? What? God, did he screw us on that trade?
It's really complicated for us. Yes, it's complicated a lot of things, and we're kind of starting over. I mean, I shouldn't say starting over, but we are definitely back to.
Yeah, losing Butler is going
to be a lot. Big loss.
That'll bring us down to a possible 8 to 6 seed in the playoffs if we can do that.
I'm hoping for that. I'd be okay with getting in the playoffs again. Would be great now without Butler. So
depending on who we get back,
right?
What pieces are.
Yes,
that might put us over. So we'll continue to talk Timberwolves as the season goes along. Obviously, this is Tim's first time, so we bring in his Mount Rushmore of Vikings players that we do each week with new people. So why don't you go ahead and give me your 4 Mount Rushmore, and you can go into explanation with who you put on.
All right. So I thought this was kind of easy. I had a toss up between my 4 and 5, but I'm gonna go on 1 through 4 just because I don't know why not. Randy Moss, number 1. I think because
he's the George Washington.
He really is. Yeah. I mean, he's the second best wide receiver ever. I mean, I'm not going to argue against Jerry Rice. I mean, some people do, but
I could.
I didn't see Rice play, and I saw Moss play a lot. I just heard that Rice is better. Anyway, Moss was and is probably the biggest freak athlete that's ever come out. I mean, you see his Marshall highlights, his high school highlights. This guy was just unreal. I mean, they said Randall Cunningham could just throw the ball as far as he wanted to throw the ball, and Moss would catch up to it and catch it. And Culpepper do the same thing. I mean, this guy is a freak of nature. You got to throw Chris Carter in here. I think he's number 2. Top 10 receiver of all time, known for the great sideline catch. Had great chemistry with the quarterbacks and with Moss. He was awesome as well.
Yep.
Kind of everyone knows about Carter. I'd say 3rd, Fran Tarkenton. I never saw him play, obviously, but you guys probably don't know, but I'm a young guy. I never saw Tarkenton play. He is one of the best top 10, 15 quarterbacks of all time, they say. I mean, he's got the running gun. Led the team to, 4 Super Bowls? 3 Super Bowls.
Cap
okay.
was in there for 1 year.
Okay. And then on number 4, it was between Paul Krause and Adrian Peterson. Paul Krause, the most interceptions of all time. That gets you up there. I mean, he's pretty good D-back. Adrian Peterson. I got to go with Adrian, though. I mean, he's the best, most dominating running back of the 2000s, in my opinion.
Yep.
My favorite player of all time. It's unbelievable how good he is. I mean, this guy was a freak. He tore his ACL, was it, in that one season, came back within 7 months and won the MVP award. Yeah. Almost beat Eric Dickerson's record.
Well,
I mean, this guy.
Freaks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're in the same conversation as Eric Dickerson, but Adrian, he's still playing at a high level.
I'm super happy he's doing well in
he really is, and I think Adrian's got to be in your top 4. So I go Moss, Carter, Tarkenton, Adrian.
Hey, that's a great top
Solid.
4.
Yep.
And once again, a new top 4. We still have yet to have 2 people with the exact same 4. And once again, that just shows, I've said it many times, it just shows just the amount of options and just how people think about who they want to put in. Jeremy's been on 3 times and we've yet to...
Yeah, we're going to get to... Mike keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
Hey, well, would you mind? We're going to have you fill in tonight. But,
so
we're just going to push that back again.
Yeah, we know he's a usual, so we can get him in at any time. So when we run out of new people coming on...
You just call me Easy?
Yes. So that great top four. I can't complain about any of them.
Right.
I really can't. They've all been on other people's lists. I think you and I are the only ones that both had Moss and Carter, though. In past ones, I think most people only pick one. Yeah, either or.
Wow. Okay.
And for me, for you two, to me that's impossible. Because if you ask me, between Moss and Carter, yeah, we've had two of the top 10 wide receivers of all time on our team, and they played together.
Yep.
It was insane. I mean, yeah, exactly.
I think your list is the only second one that has had Peterson on, isn't it?
Second or third.
Okay, because I know Peterson, he's only popped up a few times.
You got to have Adrian, though. I think it's
It was tough for me to leave. It was It was tough for me to leave him off. My person that I did was Page.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because
Alan Page.
I felt like we needed some defensive.
Right. Well, I thought about Eller and Page as well, but I mean,
yeah,
I'm biased because I'm 27. I saw Adrian's entire career, and man,
I get it.
He was amazing.
I get it.
He was quite the running back.
Yes. Well, I'd want to thank you guys for coming in today. We're going to wrap it up. As usual, guys, please email me your Mount Rushmore of Vikings players for your chance to come in and be here in studio with me to talk sports. K953 Sports Show at gmail.com. Wild fans, please email me also at that if you want to be in here and talk Wild with me also. Tim, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want you back more often. We're going to be kind of my Timberwolves guy a little bit.
Right on.
You could be one of my future Twins guys, and of course you're a big Viking fan too. So
I am, yes.
Thank
you.
Yeah, I want to have you in here often. I don't want this to be a once every 6 month type of thing for you because I respect your sports takes.
Thank you.
And Jeremy's here. Just kidding.
Yeah, didn't see that one coming at all. And you're just the crap we scraped up on the side.
Yeah. We needed somebody.
We had a cancellation.
Yeah.
Quick, ask him up front.
Yeah. We needed somebody to fill the chair. You're the chair filler at the Emmys.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez.
A lot of love around here.
Yeah. We got to have some fun. So, once again, thanks, guys, for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. Please visit the Fan Zone and thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And once again, send me your Mount Rushmores. Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week.